myself Maheshwaran, and we are starting with a new video lecture series regarding microprocessor and the microcontroller. So in very first lecture we will see what is the difference between the microprocessor and the microcontroller, because if you are going to learn that, so you must know what is the basic difference between them. So let's start. So microprocessor and the microcontroller, that name suggests something. Ki microprocessor means what? It's going to process something, and microcontroller means what? It's going to control something. But it's not like that. Processor and the controller both are used for processing as well as controlling purpose. Okay? Before starting with that, let's take some day-to-day life examples so that the concept will be very much clear for us. First of all, let's take some example which is based on microprocessor, and take one more example which is based on microcontroller. So let's suppose some year back, let's suppose I will just go back of the year, let's suppose I will talk in 2010. What had happened is that कि एक lottery लगे. Then what I thought कि कुछ तो किया जाए, I will take some stuff for me as well as for my family. So what I thought is that I will purchase one PC for me, and for family members I will purchase one washing machine. Getting? So if I talk regarding the PC, that's a personal computer, is an example of microprocessor based thing. Getting? So that's a PC which come under the microprocessor thing. And if I talk washing machine, that's the thing which is made up of microcontroller. Getting? So I will talk about washing machine. Now try to get the difference. Now this is what the scenario in the 2010. If I talk about the 2010, when I purchase my PC, the configuration will be like this. That PC will consist of, let's suppose, the processor which was there at that time, Core Studio. My RAM would be of around 1 GB, something like that, and my hard disk will be, let's suppose, 256 GB. That was the scenario at the 2010. We are well known about that, and at the same time we have bought that washing machine also. Now the thing is that as the days pass on and days rolls on, we come to the 2018. We are having still the same machine. Now what I feel is that यार जमाना बदल गया. Now the thing is that I need to update, because if I say कि I do have a PC, no one will wonder, and in that if I say कि I do have a PC with a 1 GB RAM, then the people will like, what the hell are you? Where are you lying? Because the people are getting mobile with a 1 GB RAM and you are with the PC of 1 GB. So what I thought is that why not to update it? So I will go on updating the system. So what I've done is that I kept the processor same. I will just keep it the Core Studio itself. What I thought, chalo, jo bhi RAM which is of 1 GB, I will make it of 4 GB. So it will be somewhat compatible. Getting? So I just updated to the 4 GB. What I thought, ki 256 GB is not fair enough. I will change the hard disk also. I will make it of 1 TB. Getting? It's very much possible that I can update my system. I can update the system which is made up of the microprocessor. Getting? So now I updated. Now चल थोड़ा खुश है, मतलब कुछ तो ढंग का PC है मेरे पास. Okay? Now let's suppose as in 2010 you bought that washing machine also. Now if I think about updating washing machine, what I thought, यार washing machine थोड़ा पुराना हो गया. Now I just want to update. Do you think is it ever possible? If I think about updating a PC, yes, this makes some sense to you. Yes, we can update it, we can update the RAM, we can update the hard disk and all, that's possible. But if I talk regarding updating the washing machine, is it possible or not? Okay? Just think about, have you heard ever कि in 2010 यार मेरा RAM इतना था, अभी मैंने RAM बढ़ा दिया, अभी washing machine बहुत speed से घूमता है. Is it so? In 2010 the capacity of washing machine so and so, अभी मैंने enlarge कर दिया, now it can wash more and more clothes. Is it so? It's not at all happening. Are you getting it? Okay? Why? Because washing machine is an example of microcontroller. And what does microcontroller says? Ki if you make the things by the microcontroller, most probably you cannot update it. And if you make the things by the microprocessor, you can update it. Are you getting it? So that's the main difference. Why? Because it's just like this. Whenever I say the microprocessor, it just comes with a MPMC. That's the processor thing. And the rest of the things we have to add on, we have to just put externally, they are called as a peripheral. Now for the microprocessor, the things which are there external, they can be classified in the broadly classified in the two things, there is a memory and the IO devices. The rest of the devices which we attach to the PC, they are classified either they are memory or the IO devices. So if it just comes with the MPMC, that is only the processor, then we have to add RAM to it, we have to add hard disk to it, we have to add monitor, we have to add keyboard, we have to add blah 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 things. Are you getting it? Okay? So this is what the MPMC which I was having, and rest of the things I am just adding externally. Means what? This RAM means what? We can just classify it in the memory device. If I say keyboard mouse, we can just classify it in the IO devices. So as I told, for the MUP, the external devices can be classified the memory and the IO, and all these we have to just add externally. They are not inbuilt inside the MUP. Are you getting it? But if I talk regarding the MUC, it's just a complete package. So it will come with the MUP, it will be there. Yes, it has to be there for the processing purpose, for the intelligence purpose. But with that, we will have some sort of RAM, we will have some ROM, we will have some timer, we will have some ADCs, we will have some DSCs, blah 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 things which are there essential, which are the essential that will be there inside the MUC. Are you getting it? Okay? So whenever I talk about the MUC, the things are inbuilt, they are inside that black IC. But if I talk about the MUC, if I talk about the microprocessor, the things are external, we have to add it externally. Ready? So as the things are external, that's why we are able to update it. We can just remove it, we can just replace with another type of IC or another type of RAM and ROM. That's why it's very much possible to update the microprocessor based thing, that is a computer. Ready? But if I talk about the washing machine, it is not at all updatable. Why? Because it's made up of controller, which is a single chip thing, which are there inbuilt, we cannot update it. So that's the main difference between the processor and the controller. Processor is just a unit, that microprocessor which is having that intelligence, and rest of the things are external, but the controller will consist of processor with the essential, just mark my word, is essential. Are you getting it? So the essential which are required for the processing, that not there, and that is RAM, ROM, timer, ADC, DSCs and all. So that's the first difference. Getting? Now now that's the scenario which will give me the idea, yeah, processor is the best one. Means if at all I think about I want to update it, I can update it. Getting? So what I thought is that, why not to make washing machine by using microcontroller? If the processor is the best, we can update the peripherals, then why not to make that washing machine by using the processor? Getting? First of all, do you think is it possible to make washing machine by using a processor? Just give a thought to it. Yes, it's very much possible. Why? Because what do you do by using a microprocessor, or what do you do by using a PC? We can control the big machineries in the industry, we can control the big boilers in the industry. Then what the washing machine is all about? Just we have to control that drum, nothing else. Getting? So it's very much possible to make that washing machine by using the processor. But think upon it, if I try to make it, what all I have to add in that washing machine? As I told, if you have to make that device by using a processor, yes, processor will be there. It has to be there. But the thing is that it won't act alone. We have to add the peripherals also. It's just single processor kuch nahi karega. We have to have that RAM, we have to have that hard disk, we have to have that cabinet and all things. Means what? If I make that washing machine by using a processor, the thing is that we have to add MUP. Getting? We have to have that RAM, we have to have that hard disk, we have to have that essential things. Means what? In short, we have to have that motherboard on which the things will be placed properly, and that motherboard has to be there in the CPU. Getting? Means in short, if I want to make that washing machine, then ultimately I have to add CPU inside washing machine. Are you getting it? Okay? Then try to think about that. I just try to build it. Everyone knows washing machine height will be of around 4.5 feet, somewhat like that. Okay? And the CPU will be around 1 feet. Just take approximately 1 feet. Now if I add it, the whole assembly will be of 5.5 feet, somewhat like that. Try to think upon that, means how it's getting done. Getting? So that the whole assembly will be of 5.5 feet. Means what? If I want to access it, if I want to put my clothes, I have to just be like this one. Oh, open krada. Are you getting it? Okay? So that means what? If I make the things by the processor, the things become bulkier. That height has increased by the 1 feet. Are you getting it? And have you ever bothered कि washing machine में controller कहाँ पे होता है? Have you ever seen the machinery or have you ever seen the unit of microcontroller? If you just see the washing machine का manual and all, you will find that will be there inside that display, just below the display purpose. Okay? Which is just a black IC which is of this size, which you have to just paste it, which you have to put on that panel, and that will be covered by the plastic, and that's it. We will not see one. Are you getting it? Okay? But the same thing if I use microprocessor to make that washing machine, so things become bulkier one. Getting it? Next thing is that I managed to make that washing machine, but the next thing is that, as you all know, for washing machine we need to give a supply. It consumes a lot of power, but at the same time, if I make it by using a microprocessor, once again we have to give a supply to the microprocessor as well, that cabinet as well. We have to have that jada wala wire, and that will be inserting in the CPU. Getting it? Means what? Abhi washing machine to pehle se power kha hi raha tha, but at the same time abhi CPU bhi khayega. Are you getting it? Okay? But have you ever heard ki washing machine ko you are given supply to the microcontroller if it is made of a microcontroller? No, that microcontroller works only at the 5 volt. So if I just put a single cell, just a battery cell into that washing machine, that will also do. Okay? But if I make it by using the processor, it requires external power supply. Means what? It will consume a lot of power. Are you getting it? So that's the difference. Means what? What I meant to say, in short, if I make the things by using the processor, the things become bulkier one. The power consumption become more and more. Are you getting it? Okay? But the same thing if I make it by the controller, the things become compact and the power consumption is also very less. Are you getting it? Okay? Just take one more example of microcontroller based thing. You all are students, so you are students of engineering and also you must be using a calculator. Okay? So calculator is an example of a microcontroller based thing. Inside that we are having a microcontroller. Now just think, can we make my calculator by using what you can say that processor? Just think it. What do you think? Is it possible to make calculator by using a processor? Yes, it's very much possible because processor यार calculator आराम से कर देगा, just छोटा काम है उसके लिए, ठीक है? But try to understand if I make it, so how that assembly will be. Getting? So for the calculator, yes, we need to have a display. So display will be there. Okay? As I told, if I'm making the things by the processor, you have to add all the things external. You have to have that RAM, you have to have that ROM, you have to have that supply for power and all everything. Once again, that cabinet comes. Getting? So just try to visualize how that calculator will be, just like you are having one display in your hand and the CPU will be in another hand. So you will be walking like this if you make that calculator by using a processor. Getting? But now just come to our day-to-day life calculator. It's just a pocket size. You are just putting in pocket and you are just moving away. Are you getting it? So that's the scenario. Means if I just make it by the processor, it will be just a huge kind of calculator. And think of it. Let's suppose आपका एग्जाम है, then you have to just travel with that calculator. So पहले से तो इतना बड़ा बैग रहेगा, उसके साथ वो कैलकुलेटर का CPU भी. Are you getting it? And that too if you have to travel in train, in local, in peak hours, तो just think about it. Are you getting it? And moreover, let's suppose if you manage to reach to the exam hall. Now the college or what are the schools are there, they have to make arrangement for the power socket for each and every student. Try to understand because it works on power. Because if I talk about the processor, yes, it consumes a lot of power. Are you getting it? Okay? So every student have to have that socket. And let's suppose अगर गलती से एग्जाम में लाइट चला गया तो फिर कैसे फिक्स है? बिकॉज कैलकुलेटर के सिवा तो वी कैन डू एनीथिंग. गेटिंग? बट नाउ थिंक अप ऑफ योर कैलकुलेटर विच यू आर हैविंग, विच यू आर यूजिंग राइट नाउ. ठीक है? हैव यू एवर हर्ड कि यार कल एग्जाम है, मुझे एग्जाम को जाना था, मतलब कैलकुलेटर पहले चार्जिंग पे लगा था. इज इट सो? Never, it never happened. Are you getting it? Why? Because what are the battery there inside that calculator? It will work at least for 4 to 5 hours. जब तक तेरा engineering खत्म नहीं तब तक तो वो. So that's the one criteria for the processor and the controller. Getting it? So that's that assembly, the size of the assembly and the power. That's the issue. Getting? So that's the part we have seen. Now we will think, अरे यार कंट्रोलर बेटर है यार, मतलब असेंबली बहुत छोटा हो जाता है एंड पावर कंजम्पशन भी बहुत लेस है, सो कंट्रोलर इज बेस्ट फॉर मी. दैट्स द आइडिया व्हिच विल साइट टू योर माइंड. ठीक है? बट नाउ लेट्स सी द वन मोर एस्पेक्ट. इफ यू आर हैविंग अ पीसी, व्हाट डू यू डू बाय यूजिंग दैट? अगर आपके घर पे पीसी है, आप क्या करते हो? यू प्ले गेम, you play videos, you play song, you sometime you do, if you get a time, you do programming all stuff. Are you getting it? Okay? So what this processor say is simple. If you want to play a video, टेंशन नहीं है, just have a VLC का setup मारो, तेरे लिए वीडियो बजा के देगा. Getting it? ठीक है? If you have a mood to listen some music, so what I will do, I will just have a Windows media player का setup, then I can hear to the beautiful songs. Are you getting it? Likewise, if you want to do some programming and all, you will just have the setup and it will do for you. Are you getting it? ठीक है? So it just processor is just like this, मतलब it's just like हुक्म मेरे का, means तू जो बोलेगा वो सब में करेगा, just install करके दे, I will do it. Getting it? So that's all stuff which we do on processor, that PC. Getting? Now try to think about washing machine. What do you do by using washing machine? What do you do? Simple, कपड़े ही धोते ना, बाकी कुछ होता है. कहीं भी ऐसा सुना है कि मतलब अरे वॉशिंग मशीन पे मैंने कल पिक्चर देखा करके, क्या पिक्चर था, संजू देखा, क्या मस्त वीडियोग्राफी बनाया संजय दत्त का. Have you ever heard? कभी ऐसा सुना है कि वॉशिंग मशीन पे मैंने कल सॉन्ग सुने, मोहम्मद रफ़ी के सॉन्ग सुने, पंडित भीमसेन जोशी के सॉन्ग सुने, अरे क्या बजते हैं, सही. Have you ever heard? Have you ever thought of it even? No. Why? Because that's the one more difference in the processor and the controller. If I make the things by using the processor, it can perform many applications that depend on the just installation. If you have to just install some files, it will play it for you. Okay? But if I make the things by using the controller, you are restricted. Are you getting it? Okay? So once you bought that washing machine, though you have bought it, though you have paid money for it, though you have taken a pain for it, and if you say to the washing machine, चल अभी मेरे लिए वीडियो बजा के देगा, no, it will say no. I'm not going to listen. I will just do that functioning of washing the clothes, nothing else. Are you getting it? So that's the difference. If I make the things by the controller, they are fixed. मतलब they're going to do only one task. Are you getting it? So it will just wash that washing machine will wash the clothes, nothing else. Okay? If I take an example of air conditioner, once again it's an example of microcontroller based thing. It will do the functioning of air conditioning, nothing else it will do. Are you getting it? So that's the difference. If I take microcontroller, if I make the things first the microprocessor, it will perform many tasks. But if I take microcontroller to make that particular application, so it will do that particular application itself. It won't be the multitasking. Getting it? So that's the difference. So I think I have given enough idea. So now at this stage we may think here processor is the best one. We have given idea regarding the microprocessor and the controller. Now let's suppose if you have to decide which one is the best, whether the processor is the best or the controller. Okay, actually it's depend on application. Actually both are best at their level. Getting it? So depending on the application, we have to choose whether that application has to be done, has to be what you can say that assembled by the processor or the controller. Let's suppose if you have to design some application but you do not have any constraint of space, you do not have any constraint of power, you want to do more and more functions. So yes, obviously at that time you will go for a microprocessor. Getting? Now at the opposite side, if you have a constraint of space, means you cannot have the system bulkier one. If you have a issue of power, so obviously at that time you have to go for a controller. So it's depending on the need and the concern which we have to develop for that particular application, we have to choose microprocessor or the controller. So that's the idea regarding the processor and the controller. I hope I have given enough idea. I have fair amount of knowledge regarding the processor and the controller.